Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Hurricane Mike Show. Now, the music's not working, so I'm not going to bother with that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But welcome to episode 145 of the Hurricane Mike Show, where the Saints have done it. Everyone, including myself, was saying they about to go 0-17, boy, but nah. Maybe a 1-16 season, but not an 0-17 season as the Saints beat the Giants at home 26-14 inside of the Superdome. Caesar Superdome. Before we get started, we gotta do how we usually do, man. The Saints, they beat the Giants just like the bye week beat the failed contests. Why that?
Because the Falcons are just saying this thing.
Yeah, they lose it on their bye week, man. You know why they lost on their bye week? Because we won. You see, because whenever your rival wins, you basically lose that bye week because that's just the week of you to hope that all your rivals lose with you. But yeah, I ain't gonna lie though. You know that? Hold on, let's get your main thing. What's the main thing after this win?
The main thing is just, the fact that the Saints, they're off the slide. They don't have that O next to their name anymore. So that's the main thing today. We can get into some of the other things, but that is the main thing, that we're not a winless football team.
Yeah, Jerry says it's feeling good. I'm feeling great after this game. You got some internet nerds that are saying it's just the Giants. I don't want to hear that. Bro, you know how much times we freaking had to pray that we would win the game, man? I don't care if it's the Giants, Titans, Texans. I don't care who it is. I don't care if we beat a team of freaking high schools. A win is a win, and you will respect that today. You don't even have to respect it, but what do you think Roger Goodell's going to do? Jerry says first one. What do you think Roger Goodell's going to do? I mean, y'all beat the Giants, so we're actually going to say the Giants won this game instead of y'all because y'all beat the Giants. So we'll give the Giants the win instead of y'all. What, you think he's going to do that? Huh? If it's just the Giants, why even play the game then? If it's just the Giants? I ain't trying to hear none of that. What, is Roger Goodell going to reverse the outcome of the game because it's just the Giants? Nah, get out of here with that. That's the main thing for me. It's just the Giants, bro. I don't care if it's just the Giants. We lost 4 games, bro. We were 0-4. I don't care who we beat. Let's see. What is the music? But yeah, man. Look, it's just the Giants. I don't care. I really don't. I don't care. I don't care. Well, let me use this real quick. I don't care if this is the Giants. I don't care who it is. If you win, you won. That's the main thing. But however, I'm not going to pretend like the Saints were a perfect team today. Dad, was there anything that made you want to cry in the middle of the street today?
Not really, but I will say this. Yes, a win is a win, and it's great that we won, and we're off the snide, and we got a victory. We're 1-4. But let's keep things in perspective. I don't want us to go jump off the cliff now because we're so freaking happy now. Let's keep things in perspective. The Giants did have 5 turnovers, and you might say, okay, but we forced those turnovers. Not really. I mean, some of them, Jackson Dart just dropping the ball, and then, there was another one. Then Kool-Aid with Kinstry's getting interception, but they're really like, Hail Mary interception, which normally don't count. But not trying to rain on anybody's parade, but, we can't expect all the teams to turn the ball over 5 times for us. So we need to use this win to get better. As these teams are giving us these wins, we need, to develop and get better. And so when later on in the season, we could play a team toe-to-toe, turnover for turnover, and not have 5 turnovers this way, no turnovers this way, but we won by 12 points. We with 5 turnovers we should win by 38 points. Come on now.
Yeah, yeah. I think the only thing that really makes me want to cry on the most street is first half defense and Blake Groupie. Those are the main two. But however, you know what I like about Kellen Moore? You know what I liked what he did? He made second half adjustments. We never did that under Dennis Allen. When we had Dennis Allen for those 3 years, Dennis Allen, he would take a game plan and run with it. Like, okay, there'd be some games where the Saints turn up in the second half. Like, for example, Week 18 in like a couple years ago in the game where Dennis Allen publicly apologized to Atlanta when we rubbed in the score. I don't know if you remember, but it was 17-17 at halftime, and we ended up winning 48-17. That was more of just a bigger second half, more than it was second half adjustments. The Saints today made second half adjustments. Like, they realized that, okay, Jackson Dart was basically running all over the Saints defense. So what are we going to do? We're going to bring pressure. We're going to have linebackers spying in on Jackson Dart. When Cam Scottaboo was having his little runs in the first half, you know what we're going to do? We're going to play for the run game, and if they throw on us, oh well. But guess what? The Giants, they did make second half adjustments. You know why? Because they kept running the ball over and over. And that's why Scottaboo fumbled the ball that led to Jordan Howden scoring a touchdown. Because the Saints knew that was coming. They knew that was coming. So, like, okay, you're going to run the ball and watch. We're going to take it from you. And that's what they did. And then they went to the Beijing with it. So, Saints, man, what did they do right today? They made second half adjustments. Something that we did never under Dennis Allen as the head coach. That's why Kellen Moore is a victory, or this is why Kellen Moore is my head coach now, because he knows how to make second half adjustments. And Dennis Allen never did that. So yeah, I'm super happy that we won this game, man. First quarter, Giants outscored us 7-3. Second quarter, Saints outscored them 13-7. But then they never scored after the second quarter. Third quarter, Saints won 3-0. Fourth quarter, Saints won 7-0. I'm not saying the Saints had a great game. I'm not saying the Saints. You could probably even make the argument that the Giants, for the majority of the game, were playing like the better team. But the Saints took advantage of stuff that the Giants did not, like turnovers. Turnovers is mainly why the Saints won this game. But anyways, now let's go over the scoring summary. In the first quarter, just so y'all know what happened, in the first quarter, with 9:34 left, you had Jackson Dart throw a 1-yard touchdown pass to Theo Johnson in a drive where the referees gave them a free touchdown. I'm still bitter about that. Like, all that bull crap that was going on. Like, that was not a PI. I don't care. Okay. Was it technically a PI? Yes. But, bro, that ticky-tack call. But, yeah, so the Giants went up 7-0 after that touchdown. And also the freaking catch. That wasn't a catch, but they ruled it a catch. But LSU, I know it's a different league, but LSU does that, and we're going to say it's incomplete. Man, that's bull crap. But, yeah, Blake Groupie, he ended up hitting a 28-yard field goal. We won 40 left in the first to make it 7-3, being the most inconsistent kicker of all time. And then the second quarter, Jackson Dart hit Theo Johnson again, this time for a 15-yard touchdown, followed by Jude McAfee's extra point for the Giants to go up 14-3. Blake Groupie hit a 53-yard field goal with 7:41 left in the second to make it 14-6. And then Spencer Rattler threw a dime for an 87-yard touchdown to Rashid Shaheed, followed by Blake Groupie's extra point to make it 14-13. And then following a fumble, Blake Groupie turns around and hits a 29-yard field goal to go up 16-14 after he previously missed a field goal the possession before. In the third quarter, Blake Groupie hit a 28-yard field goal to go up 19-14 with 6:55 remaining in the third. And then in the fourth quarter, which really ended the game, Jordan Howden scoops up an 86-yard fumble return for a touchdown, followed by Blake Groupie's extra point to end this game 26-14. But now let's get into the details. Now we can actually analyze the game. Passing the ball, Spencer Rattler was 21 for 31, 225 yards, and a touchdown. Taysom Hill, 1 for 1 for 19 yards. It was great seeing him back. But we got to talk about that beautiful pass from Spencer Rattler. Dad, we were saying all season, we want to see some more explosive plays. We want to see explosive plays, especially to Rashid Shaheed. Well, how do you feel that we saw that?
Well, we saw our first one of the season. I mean, it's week 5 now. But I'm sure they've called some plays all year long for one other reason or another, it just hasn't materialized to anything big. But we did, you know, hook up one to Shaheed down the field. He showed that speed that he has, and it was good to see. We need to see a lot more of it. And like you said, Spencer Rattler had a pretty good day. 21 of 31, one touchdown, no interceptions. Pretty good. I mean, he's been steady all season, so I like where he's at right now.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm not. I'm actually to the point where I'm accepting an idea. A lot of people are saying draft a quarterback. I say stick with Rattler even next season as well because there is not a single quarterback in college football that I look at as a game changer for the Saints, even in the future.
Well,
Like
this is week 5,
I
so
okay,
if you go 3-14 and the quarterback was just meh or just okay, no, you got to draft the quarterback. I mean, no, you can't just win 3 games and keep everything the way they are into next season. I mean, it just doesn't happen. So I mean, if Spencer Rattler wants to keep his job, he's gonna have to win more than 3 games.
let me ask
Six,
you a question,
seven,
Dad.
eight,
What
nine.
quarterback? What quarterback? If the Saints win 3 games, what quarterback are you drafting with the top 5 pick?
I don't know, but there's gonna be
Like,
somebody. There's gonna be
no,
somebody
there's
there
not.
that you're gonna have to get.
There's not. Somebody's going to rush to the phone to draft a quarterback, and I hope the Saints are not one of them. Because that's exactly why the Giants landed Daniel Jones and Jackson Dart. Because they rushed to the phone, and look where their team headed. Their team was in a worse situation than before Daniel Jones got there. And I know Jones is playing better now, but he was just not made for New York. So they rushed to the phone, and then that's how that team was ruined. The Raiders rushed to the phone to get Jamarcus Russell. That's how their team was ruined. The Chargers rushed to the phone to get Ryan Leaf. That's how their team got ruined. The freaking Falcons rushed to the phone to get Michael Penix Jr., and that team is ruined now.
There really wasn't no rushing to the phone. I mean, when you draft a DeMarcus Russell, I mean, you spent all season thinking about it. I mean, you had the first pick, Raiders, and so you spent all off season thinking about it. So it wasn't a rush thing. It was just a miss hit on a talent thing. Is really what it is. And really what it is about all these guys that you mentioned. They just over analyze the talent.
I understand that, but it's like you already know that you have a stable quarterback in play. So why would you draft a K. Klubnik who's not even doing good for Clemson? Nussmeier's not doing good for LSU. Sellers is not doing good for South Carolina. The
Hold on.
Oregon dude, Drew Allen,
Describe a stable quarterback situation. Let me hear it.
Spencer Rattler has thrown an interception 1 time through 5 weeks. Spencer Rattler is number 1 in expected touchdowns by ESPN, meaning that he did the over expectations. Spencer Rattler is leading us down the field to where are we scoring points in the red zone? Not really, but he's leading us down the field more than and that's more than we can say. Like that's more than the freaking Jets could have said today. That's
Mikey,
more than what?
you're a smart dude. Spencer Rattler is now 1-10 as a starting quarterback. I
That look,
gotta see more. It's week 5. Gotta see more.
that I mean this with all the respect in the world. You were, and I was too, but you were one of the ones that was happy when we signed Derek Carr.
I was. We needed a quarterback. I mean, what you gonna
But
do?
Derek Carr had a negative win ratio,
He was a 4-time Pro Bowler. What do you mean?
but he kept losing games.
That's not true. Look up some of those records. He he played in the playoffs.
What? But you're saying Rattler, he's not winning games, but Derek Carr retired with more losses than career wins, and he made the playoffs 2 times, winning 0 playoff games.
I don't know what his record is. All I know is it's week 5, and by the time draft day gets here, I mean we're gonna analyze the whole season and be like, okay, Rattler was doing good in the first 5 weeks, but then from week 5 to week 17, he threw 10 interceptions and 1 touchdown. That's not good. So now we made
What if he
a
doesn't?
mistake.
What if the Saints go 3-14 and Rattler has a great season?
First off, I don't know how that could happen, but if he does, then then we'll analyze that as well. I mean, if you have the first pick in the NFL draft, you can't draft no damn middle linebacker. I mean, you got to draft something that's going to change your franchise. I mean, you don't have Drew Brees anymore. You're not winning championships unless you have a franchise quarterback. If you have a quarterback that's just 50-50 and leads you to 3 or 4 wins a year, I mean, you got to bring somebody else in.
I understand that, but like if there's no quarterback that you desire over with the number one pick, you can't take a quarterback. Like you can maybe take a quarterback later in the draft, but you cannot take a quarterback with the number one pick if nobody is worth the number one pick. And I'm not saying don't entertain the idea. But like if you draft a quarterback with the number one pick and they're not a guy that is generational or even a great prospect, then you're just wasting your time. Like there's so many other skill positions that you need that is not quarterback. Like take a defensive lineman, take a receiver, even look at the tight end, see if one of them is worth it. Like there's like what 11 or 12 different positions that you could consider for the number one overall pick that's not a quarterback. That's all I'm saying. Like you can consider the idea, but just don't rush the pick. Like, don't be like, oh, Rattler, he's fine, so we got to take a quarterback. Like, no, that's why you ended up with Tyler Shuck in the second round this year, and look, and he's not even playing right now.
Did you say take a tight end at number one? First off,
I said look at the idea.
If you were the general manager, and except Mickey Loomis, because he's gonna be here until the day he dies. If you're a general manager, I mean, you would get fired if you took a tight end or any mid position, and then the number 2 team drafts Nussmeier or a Sellers, and they go on to be a franchise quarterback. You get fired for making decisions like that. Except if you're Mickey Loomis, you don't get fired.
So exactly. So Loomis probably will look at a tight end because he already knows his job is safe.
He probably will.
Right, we'll move on with this conversation. But yeah, so do you still think that the passing game did pretty good today, or?
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, did the whole team really competed the whole game long, which I was great to see. Because after that Seattle game, I'm like, man, this is like Mike Ditka's team coming back, or who's the coach after him? One of those teams coming back that just didn't compete at all. But this team competed, after that little egg that they laid in Seattle. So I'm good to see that. And yeah, the passing game did pretty good. Yeah.
Speaking of Seattle, how does Darnold throw 4 touchdowns and they still lose to the Buccaneers?
I don't know.
Like this man Darnold played a near perfect game against Tampa Bay with 4 touchdowns, but then he throws an interception at the end of the game when that's the moment that you cannot throw a pick. Bruh, where was that version? What week are we in? 5? We played Seattle week 3. Where was that version of him 2 weeks ago? Throwing the interception. Whatever. Anyways, let's talk about this running game. Kendre Miller, 10 carries, 41 yards, 4.1 yards a carry. Alvin Kamara had 8 carries for 27 yards, 3.4 yards a carry. Spencer Rattler ran the ball 6 times for 21 yards, 3.5 yards a carry. And Taysom Hill, 6 carries, -1 yard, -0.2 yards a carry, which is something I thought I did not see, or I would not see. So, how do you feel the run game did against the Giants?
Like we've talked many times on this show, the run game and the passing game was very balanced. He had 32 passing attempts and 30 rushing attempts. I mean, that is getting it done. And guess what? We won. See how that works? Do you see how that works? Okay. So, you normally would like to see Alvin Kamara get more carries, but Kendre Miller was running pretty hard today. And they also had Taysom Hill coming back, and they wanted to get him involved a little bit, even though he doesn't have great numbers. But, it's just good to get him in there, get him a little bumped around a little bit, get back in the swing of things, and hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, he'll get back to the Taysom Hill of old. I'm hoping.
Absolutely, man. It's like Kendrick Miller is probably one of the hardest runners I've ever seen. It's like this man. Like there was one point late in the game where I thought he fumbled the ball because I'm thinking he went down. I thought he fumbled the ball because I saw Dexter Lawrence running up the field, and I'm like, shoot, did he fumble the ball? But no, Kendrick Miller still the ball running, and I was like, what? How did he not go down? Like, bruh, he was literally in a pile of giant players. This man does not go down unless you force his knees to the ground. Kendrick Miller is probably the hardest runner I've ever seen play. He's probably even look. I love Kamara, but I do think Kamara is still the better running back. But Kendrick Miller is probably the hardest runner on this team right now. Like Kamara, he doesn't really look. He runs hard, but what makes Kamara so special is that he feels like it's too easy. And to be fair, it is too easy for him sometimes. But Kendrick Miller, he runs through the nitty gritty. So yeah, the run game, 0 on point today. Now let's talk about the receiving game. Rashid Shaheed, 4 catches, 114 yards, 28 and a half a catch, and a touchdown, which was that 87-yard bomb that we talked about earlier. Chris Olave, 7 catches for 59 yards, 8.4 yards a catch. Alvin Kamara, 4 catches, 28 yards, 7 yards a catch. Juwan Johnson, 2 catches, 17 yards, 8.5 yards a catch, and his usually weekly drop. Devon Vele, 2 catches, 13 yards, 6.5 yards a catch. Kendrick Miller, 1 catch for 8 yards, 8 yards a catch. Brandon Cooks had 1 catch for 5 yards, 5 yards a catch. And even Spencer Rattler got a catch. Rattler literally threw the ball to himself. I don't know if you remember that play. But, I mean, he got flagged for it, though, because he threw the ball to himself, and then he threw it again. So, how do you feel the receivers and Spencer Rattler did today with catching the ball wise?
That's a great snag by Spencer Rattler, boy. I'm telling you, we got to, get the man to understand that you can't throw 2 forward passes on one play. But anyway, did pretty good. I mean, Chris Olave led the way like he's supposed to. He's supposed to be our number 1 receiver, and he hasn't looked like it this year. But he was all right today. And you mentioned Juwan Johnson had his usual drop, but that's probably one of the few bad throws of Spencer Rattler's day. It was on his back hip when it should have been toward the sideline to bring him out of bounds. But you still should catch the ball if you got your 2 hands on it. But all in all,
And he was wide open too, so it wasn't like he was in danger of getting hit or anything.
All in all, it was a pretty good day.
Yeah, the receivers, man. Look, Shaheed. I understand if you take 80 yards out of that touchdown, then he only has like 20 or 30 yards. But, bro, the point is we need to see more of that Shaheed, man. I don't want to see no Shaheed just running slants or dig routes or something like that. I want to see Shaheed up the field. Rashid Shaheed is literally this version of Tyreek Hill. Like, Chris Olave probably had his best game of the season. He was definitely more consistent. I don't even think there was one pass that he really dropped like that. There might have been a pass where it's like he could have still caught, which I think was early in the game. But to be fair, that was good defense by Holland. In the first quarter, that was like the only other pass where I felt like he could have maybe caught it, but then Holland got in the way. But overall, I think the second receivers had a good day. Vele, I like that we involved Vele. He had a couple catches. And Brandon Cooks, he gets like 1 catch a game here. So how much did we pay him? Like what? Was it 10 or 13 million? I don't know. But yeah, he's getting paid to catch 1 ball a game. But now let's talk about the Saints defense, man. The first half, they look like one of the worst defenses I've ever seen. But in the second half, they turned a new leaf. 4th and 5 turnovers, 4 of them in the second half alone. Demario Davis was the anchor of the Saints defense. 7 tackles, 3 assists. Jonas Sanker, which rhymes with anchor, got 6 tackles and 1 assist. You got Pete Werner. 5 tackles, 6 assists. Could he have had a better game if you watched the game? Yes. But overall, a solid day. Alontae Taylor, 4 tackles, 4 assists. Carl Granderson, 3 tackles, 3 assists. Should have had a sack, but the referee's always in their feelings whenever a quarterback gets hit too hard. They got to be in their feelings. Kool-Aid McKinstry, man, 3 tackles, 1 assist, and not 1 but 2 interceptions. This man Kool-Aid didn't get a single interception his whole rookie year and the entirety of this season. But this man's like, you know what? Oh yeah, and he gets 2 interceptions today. 2 of them. 2 of them. That's crazy. Jordan Howden, 3 tackles, 1 assist, and also scooped up that fumble for the touchdown, which basically it didn't end the game at the time, but that was basically the nail in the coffin before it was the nail in the coffin. Cameron Jordan, 3 tackles, and also fell on the fumble that Jackson Dart. I still don't know why he fumbled that ball because like the Saints, I don't even think they touched them that entire play. Cam Jordan, like the ball he just dropped it, and then Cam Jordan was there to fall on it. Nathan Shepard had an okay day stopping the run, 2 tackles, 2 assists. Chris Rumpf II, 2 tackles, 1 assist. Jonathan Bullard had 1 tackle, 1 assist. Brian Brzee, 1 tackle, and even batted down a pass at one point in the game, which I'm so glad he did because if you don't remember that play, Cam Scottaboo would have been wide open for a first down, but Brzee was able to bat it down to stop it. And Quincy Riley, he wasn't targeted as much, but when he was, I think he played some great coverage. There was this one play where I'm like, okay, that should have been defensive pass interference, but they didn't call it, so hey, still counts as a good defensive play. Quincy Riley had 1 tackle, though, on defense. Justin Reed had 2 assists before he had to leave the game with a concussion, and that's it. So how do you feel the Saints defense did today against the Giants?
Well, like you mentioned, they started off slow. I mean, after those first 2 touchdowns, you can't lie. You thought, well, here we go again. We're going to get blown out from the Giants. Jesus. Anyway, but after that, we settled down, and we started creating some turnovers. Well, the Giants gave us a couple. And, Kool-Aid, I guess he was tired of getting burnt all year long, so he finally stepped up. Somebody challenged him in there. But what makes me want to cry in the middle of the street? Now I know what it is. Can the Saints, somebody, find out how to stop a quarterback from running? I mean, Jackson Dart, he got 55 yards rushing. I mean, just, pretty much 8 yards a run. I mean, every time they needed a big play, especially in the first half when they were doing really well, he just pull it down and he take off running. He had a long of 20 yards. And I'm just like, this happens to us all the time with non-running quarterbacks. I mean, they do it against the Saints. I don't know what the deal is. If something's wrong with the scheme, they just don't care about running quarterback. I don't know. But we need to get that fixed, Brandon Staley.
Yeah, this year is just this year for the Saints is just really it's really just like an experimental year where we're just seeing what sticks. And then next year, I think the Saints. Look, I'm not saying that they're not trying, but I think this year is like. I even think Kellen Moore and Brandon Staley knows that this year they're just trying to see what sticks. Man, there are 2 new coaches in a new organization, but it would be nice if you knew what you were doing a little bit. But hey, now kick returns, and this is something I want to address, and this is going to be the whole special teams unit. Kendra Miller, 1 kick return for 18 yards. Velus Jones Jr. 1 for 9. I'm going to talk to him in a second. And kicking the ball, Blake Groupie was 4 for 6, 66.7%. As long as it's a 50 yarder for 14 points. And punting the ball, Ty Kroger, 2 punts for 83 yards, 41.5 yards punt. So we didn't really do anything on the special teams unit. But Blake Groupie, apparently in his brain, he's like, man, I didn't miss a single field goal last week against the Bills. So you know what? I got to pay my debt, and I got to miss 2 kicks, man. I got to keep it on course. I got to miss a kick that counts for this game and last game because I didn't miss a single field goal last week. And Velus Jones, when you start the game, you're about to get the ball. Why in the world, instead of letting the ball go into the end zone so you can get the ball at the 35-yard line, why is Joe dumb? And they're already running after you. So why in the world are you going to catch the ball before it hits the end zone and then take it out and you only get it to the 9-yard line? So we had to start the game at the 9-yard line, and we went 3-and-out, which made Kyle Kroger to punt the ball. And you already knew at that point the Giants were most likely going to get good field position. Wheels Jones, find your brain cell. Why? Like, there was no point in taking it out to the 9-yard line, bruh. Like, who do you think you are? You ain't no freaking Rashid Shaheed. No, if Shaheed was back there, I'd be like, okay, let's see what he can do because he's fast. Wheels Jones, you're probably slower than a bag of rocks, bro. Why are you taking it out to the 9-yard line? So how do you feel about the special teams today?
Yeah, it didn't get off to a good start. You know, you had that one, and then the next return wasn't. Well, it was a little better. It wasn't that much better. It was an 18-yard return, still within the 20-yard line or whatever. But
Yeah.
I mean, all that is why we got off to a bad start and why the Giants got an easy 14 points right out the gate. But yeah, Blake Gruffy, I don't know if he's dealing with an injury or if how these kickers are a little mental sometimes. I don't know if his dog died or what's going on at home. But he's got to get it fixed because I mean, there's kickers at home that really want jobs and they can come in and do a little workout and show that they can kick the ball through the little H and be good. So, I mean, he's going to have to get it together. No more missing. One more miss, you might have to go, bro. I'm telling you.
Yeah, Blake Grupe, I know he got hurt at the end of the game, but it's like even then, like you weren't doing nothing, man. It's like, bro, what are you doing? But yeah. Now on the Giants side of things, Jackson Dart was 26 for 40, 202 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. How do you think Dart did against the Saints defense?
I mean, like I said, he was using his legs early in the game, and he had a nice first half. But he definitely looked like a rookie in that second half, thanks to our defense.
Yeah. Jackson Dart, he started out the game pretty good. He was playing slowly. But then he started fumbling. The Giants started fumbling. So then he felt they had a need to do something. All right. But then, like, it just came into play. And Dart just thing about Jackson Dart is like a lot of people, a lot of Saints fans wanted the Saints to draft Jackson Dart. And Jackson Dart this week said that he's going to prove why the Saints should have drafted him. Okay. But why? Why would we want to draft you then? If you turn the ball over, you turned the ball over, like your team turned the ball over 5 times. You were responsible for 3 of them. The fact that I had to do math with your fumbleness and your interceptionness is mind-boggling. Last week, you didn't do that much against the Chargers, but you won, so we're going to overhype the heck out of you. I'm sorry, you still got to earn my respect, Dart. Look, and I'm not hating on you, bro. Like, if you are a good quarterback, I'll say you're good. Unless you play for the Falcons, then I'm going to say that you suck no matter what you do. But it's like, I don't have nothing against you as a person. I don't like the Giants, that's true. But I don't got nothing against you personally. So if you're a good QB, I'll say you're a good QB. Like, for example, I think, look, Baker Mayfield I view as a top 10 quarterback in the NFL right now. Just because he plays on one of the Saints division rivals, just because he plays on one of the Saints division rivals does not mean I'm going to just hate on this man.
The midget.
Like, unless he plays for Atlanta, but that's something different. So, yeah. You have to earn my respect, Art. You haven't earned it yet. Now let's talk about the running game of the Giants. Cam Scatterboo. 15 carries for 59 yards. 3.9 yards a carry. Fumbling the ball for Howden to take it to the end zone. Jackson Dart had 7 carries for 55 yards, 7.9 yards a carry. He was having some scrambled legs in the beginning of the game, but he just stopped doing it. Mainly because the Saints read it. In the second half, like they got better about it. Like I feel like if it wasn't for that fumble that Jordan, the Giants would probably if the Saints didn't get that fumble return for a touchdown, the Giants probably score on that drive. So, yeah. And Devin Singletary, 6 carries for 20 yards, 3.3 yards a carry, and this man had a terrible drop at some point in the game. And Wan'Dale Robinson, 1 carry, 2 yards carry on that stupid 4th down play. So how do you feel like the Giants' running game did?
Scatterboo. I said, man, if we talking about Scatterboo running all over, it's been a long game, but he started out good. But just like the rest of the Giants, fizzled out in the second half, started turning the ball over and stuff, which is all right by me. But
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, they didn't do a whole lot. Look at the balance thing. They threw the ball 40 times and just ran it 29 times. So there's your balance or lack of
Yeah,
balance.
yeah. Like, that's better balance than a lot of losing teams, but still, kind of spread out. Um, yeah, look, Scatterboo was obviously their main running back since Tyron Tracy was out. And he had a couple nice runs in that first half and even some in the second half, but like the Saints figured him out and they just poked that ball right out. Like, look, and I'm rooting for Scatterboo too, look, because I liked Scatterboo. I liked him at Arizona State. I still like him now. I still felt like he had a better college career than Ashton Genty. Personally, like that might be a hot take, but like he proved himself against some worthy teams. But yeah, in fact, that actually brings me to a point. Before we bring up the Giants receivers, can we just mention something? Did you hear the news about Kyron Lacy?
I heard a little bit about it. I really don't know the whole story. It's kind of confusing. But
Well,
if you want to enlighten us, go ahead.
a video came out like a couple days ago. I want to say Friday, like Friday night. A video came out by Kyron Lacy's lawyer. Okay, like, and I'm sure y'all know the story. Oh, Jackson Dart killed or was involved in killing a man. That's actually not the case because if you look at the video, and this is video evidence, this is not me speculating. This is video evidence. It is on the internet for you to all look at. And when the cars crashed, what the story was implied was that Kyron Lacy caused the crash. They never said he was in the crash. They said that he caused it, like he was swerving. Well, that the car crashed well before Kyron Lacy even got to the scene. And funny enough, Kyron Lacy's car was over 70 yards behind the cars that got in the crash. So how is a car that is 70 yards away from a crash going to involve the crash, Dad? Can you answer that?
I don't know. So what happened to Kyron Lacy's car?
Like, okay, so the car's crashed. Even another car goes by, and then Kyron Lacy goes in the lane that he was driving the whole time. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that y'all had this man kill himself over over a crime that he didn't even commit. You know how pathetic that is? This man took his own life because of the backlash he was getting. And it turns out he wasn't even, like, he was innocent the whole time.
Mm.
This is why I hate the internet sometimes. Look, I love the internet, but I hate it. Because, like, you just hear one thing, and then you just become an investigator all of a sudden. You hear one thing, and then you just are like, oh, man, this dude's a terrible person, without even getting to know the entire situation. Look, and I'm not just saying this because he played at LSU. I don't care if this man played at Alabama, LSU, Tulane, Texas, Arizona. I don't care where this. I don't care. He could have played anywhere else. But the fact that y'all didn't hear the whole story, and y'all had this man kill himself, that is just a sad thing to see. So, Dad, do you have any final words about the Kyron Lacy situation?
No, just unfortunately, that's the way it is with the internet. I mean, everybody's quick to put their opinion out there without knowing exactly what's going on.
Yeah, and it's like Kyron Lacy, like everybody was making fun of Lacy, saying, "Why are you going to declare for the draft 2 days after you allegedly killed a man?" But he didn't kill him though. I don't even think Lacy knew about, like, obviously he knew about the accident. He was driving by it, but I don't even think he knew that people thought he was basically convicted of it. Like, and that's why people were like, "Man, I wonder why he didn't turn himself in," because there's nothing to be turned in about. I'm surprised it took this long for the video to come out. I mean, they probably wanted to wait till like the perfect time. You know, they probably wanted to like get like I think they had to like get the video first. But I even heard when Kyron Lacy killed himself that there was maybe even something that could have helped him, like a video that was going to be released that was going to help Kyron Lacy. And it's like, bro, you had this man kill himself over something he didn't even do. But anyways, that's just me spreading like because like Kyron Lacy's parents can't like they can't say hi to their son no more, and y'all are the reason for that. Like you gotta remember, everybody's human. Even if Kyron Lacy did cause that car accident, which he did not, even if he did, that still gives y'all no right to freaking put this man on blast like that. That's just me though. Y'all can feel how y'all feel, whatever. I'm standing on my opinion. But anyways, let's get back to this game. Giants receivers. Daniel Bellinger, 4 catches for 52 yards, 13 yards a catch. Cam Scadaboo is their second leading receiver, which is how dreadful the Giants receiving room is. Getting 6 catches for 45 yards, 7.5 yards a catch. Theo Johnson, 6 catches for 33 yards, 5.5 yards a catch, and 2 touchdowns, which was the only 2 touchdowns of the Giants game. Darius Slayton, 3 catches, 31 yards, 10.3 yards a catch, and also had that fumble before halftime, which let the Saints get 3 points. And Biao Collins, 1 catch, 7 yards a catch. Devin Singletary, 1 reception for 4 yards, 4 yards a catch, but he also had 1 terrible drop. But, it doesn't really matter. So how do you feel the Giants receivers did against the Saints defense today?
Like you said, I mean, Scadaboo was second leading receiver. I mean, they're without Neighbors, and Neighbors is clearly the number one guy, and it shows. And this just shows that they don't have a whole lot of depth behind Neighbors, so they're gonna have to be working on that in the offseason.
Yeah, it's like Darius Slayton. Everybody and I said before, and hey, I almost got the score right because I said Saints win 27-16. I was 1 point off by the Saints and 2 points off by the Giants. It's like, because I knew this was going to happen. I was like, the main reason I knew, or I at least thought the Saints were going to win, which they clearly did, obviously, if you see the score, I did not see how any Giants receiver could really beat the Saints secondary. And that proves to be the answer. It's like, their number one receiver was Daniel Bellinger, who's a tight end. There were 3 before you get to a Giants wide receiver. You got to go through 3 names: a tight end, a running back, and a tight end before you can get to a receiver on the Giants receiving chart on who made a catch and by the yards that they got. And the Giants only had 3 receivers catch a pass the entire day. And one of the receivers, I literally didn't even know he was a person till he caught a ball. Going into the game, I didn't even know who this guy was. Biao Collins. I don't even know how to say this man's name. So that's why the Saints won this game, because the Giants have no receivers other than Darius Slayton today. And even Slayton didn't do that much. In fact, he gave the Saints a win on the silver platter when he fumbled that ball. That was all the momentum the Saints needed to turn this game around. Because when Groupie missed that field goal, it looked like all the momentum was about to go to the Giants because the Giants could have scored and then got the ball after half and maybe even scored again. It looked like the Giants were about to take the game over. But then Darius Slayton goes out and fumbles the ball, and then the Saints got all the momentum right back, or at least that's what it was leaning towards. Then they made the field goal, and then it was just cruise sailing from there. Now let's talk about the Giants' defense. Darius Mufasa, 6 tackles for 3 assists. Paulson Adebo, former Saint. I respect you, but not today. He got 6 tackles. Was he the guy that was guarding Shaheed for that touchdown, or was that somebody else?
I think that was somebody else, but I can't be too positive on that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was somebody else, but someone asked that question earlier. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Tyler Nubin because I heard a Giants fan complaining why you have Tyler Nubin guarding the Saints' fastest receiver. So I'm pretty sure it's Tyler Nubin. Anyways, more guys on the Giants defense. Bobby Okereke, 5 tackles, 5 assists. Tyler Nubin, just speaking of him, had 4 tackles, 1 assist. Cordell Flott, 3 tackles. Brian Burns, 2 tackles and 1 assist. DJ Davidson, 2 tackles. Javon Holland got 2 tackles and forced a pretty good pass breakup early in the game, but Saints were able to win that game, so it does not matter. Raheem Nunez Roches, 1 tackle with 4 assists. Abdul Carter, 1 tackle, 3 assists. They held Dexter Lawrence II to only 1 tackle and 1 assist. Kayvon Thibodeau, 1 tackle. Roy Robertson Harris, 1 tackle. Darius Alexander, 1 tackle. Deontay Banks, 1 tackle. And that's all she wrote. So how do you think the Giants defense did today?
Well, looking at this Giants defensive numbers, can we give some love to the Saints offensive line? I mean, we
We
pitched
absolutely can.
a shutout as far as sacks go. They kept Spencer Rattler pretty clean, and with that, he had a decent game throwing the football. So, that worked hand in hand as well. So, let's give the O line some love. We've been hard on them all year long. Cesar Ruiz, sad ass, doesn't play today, so that was good. But no,
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave Cesar alone. But yeah, we played good, and the Giants defense was they gave up 26 points. Well, actually, they only gave up 19 points, but who's counting?
Yeah. Yeah, the Giants defense, man, they like it was weird. It's like they should have done better than they did because like the biggest problem, like the biggest fear I had going into the game was that Giants defensive line going into the game. That was my biggest fear because I was like, they got Dexter Lawrence up the middle. They freaking have Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Abdul Carter. But the Saints offensive line, mainly Calvin Banks, was blocking Burns so well that they had to switch Burns over to the side of Talise Fuaga. And even Fuaga was giving him business. Shout out to Torrisi Simpkins, man, because I don't know if you noticed, but every time Cesar Ruiz is playing, the offensive line seems to struggle. But every time he's not playing, the offensive line seems to do well. Like, if you remember when Ruiz got hurt last week, and I'm not saying I'm glad he got hurt, but when he was playing, the offensive line was, like, the Bills' defensive line was getting back there. But then when he exited the game, it's like the defensive line couldn't get to Rattler even if the sun was on him. So it's like the Saints offensive line really. I think that proves that Cesar Ruiz is just not good personally. But yeah, Giants defense, they did nothing that impacted this game whatsoever. They had a couple 3-and-outs, but that was about it. Anyways, now let's talk about the Giants special teams. As Gunnar Olszewski had 3 kick returns for 85 yards, 28.3 return. Deontay Banks 2 for 75, 37.5 return, and Jude McAtney scored 2 points kicking the ball. And punting the ball, Jamie Gillian, aka the Scottish Hammer, had 2 punts for 75 yards, 37.5 yards a punt, and 2 inside the 20. How do you feel the Giants special teams unit did today?
Well, the kick return unit did a lot better than ours did. The couple of them, they had a 46-yard return and a 34-yard return. Those are put you in good field position. They didn't do much with it, so it's all right. But no punt return yards to speak of. They didn't have a punt return. But kicking the ball, they didn't have a field goal opportunity either. So all in all, they did. Like I said, the kick return did all right. Everything else was, didn't really happen. So I can't grade them if they didn't do anything.
Yeah, their special teams was solid. Like they had some solid punts, but like then solid kicks that the Saints took out for some reason. But it wasn't good enough to beat the New Orleans Saints. Now let's go over the team stats. Saints, 332 total yards, 244 passing, 88 rushing, 5.4 yards per play. They picked up 18 first downs. They were 7 for 15 on third downs, 1 for 1 on fourth downs, as they had that gutsy fourth down play at the end of the game, which I still love. They should have did it again so Groupie didn't miss that field goal. But, we won. Saints ran 62 total plays. They punted the ball 2 times. They got 7 penalties for 43 yards. I still hope we can clean that up and no more penalties on third downs, Kool-Aid. And the Saints also had the ball for 28 minutes and 10 seconds. That should have been 28 minutes and 3 seconds, personally. I think those are better numbers. But, yeah. Giants. Let's go over their team stats. They had 335 total yards, 199 passing, 136 rushing, 4.8 yards per play. They picked up 23 first downs. They were 3 for 10 on third downs. It's really what helped the Saints win this game. They were 3 for 5 on fourth downs. The fact that they had to go for it 5 times is also why the Saints won this game. They ran 70 total plays. They got sacked 1 time. They punted the ball 2 times. They got 8 penalties for 95 yards. They fumbled the ball, and they lost 3 fumbles, and they threw 2 interceptions, a.k.a. 5 turnovers, and they had the ball for 31 minutes and 50 seconds. So, yeah, do you have anything else to add?
Just like you, that's where I was going to go. The third down conversion, 3 of 10. That's our defense getting it done there, along with the 5 turnovers, and that's your ball game right there. I mean, you can't win if you can't, convert on third down and you turn the ball over 5 times. I mean, how do you win that game? You can't.
Yeah, when you can't execute on third downs, you're not going to win too many games. It doesn't matter. If you turn the ball over 5 times, it doesn't matter who you're playing. You're not going to win that game. This reminds me of the Bears game a couple years ago where the Saints forced 5 turnovers. And the Saints barely won that game, but you know why they won? Because they forced all them turnovers. So it's like, with the Saints, look, a win is a win. So you can say it's just a Giants all you want. But what matters is that a win is a win. And now the Saints move on to play the Patriots next week, man.
But just think about it, Mikey. If Scatterbull don't fumble that ball that's brought back by Howden, all the way for a touchdown. If he don't bring that ball, I mean, there's only 4 turnovers, and if they're able to get that ball in the end zone that time, I mean, we might lose this game even by getting 4 turnovers.
Yeah, but that's why. Hey, I never said that forcing 4 turnovers guarantees a win, but when it's 5 turnovers, then that's when you lose.
Well, we could have been sitting here saying, okay, they turned the ball over 4 times. We didn't turn the ball over no times, and they won 21-19. We could have been saying that, but we didn't. Thank God for 5 turnovers.
And thank God for the bye week.
And why?
Because they beat the Falcons, so that it helps the Saints out.
I love that bye week. Mm-hmm.
Yep, gotta love the bye week. But yeah, let's see if there's anything else that we could say. I mean, shoot, I think we really covered it. Dad, do you have anything else to add?
Nope, we're good.
Yeah. Man, don't forget to tune into the Hurricane Mike Show on Tuesday night, probably, where we're going to be recapping everything that happened in this week's games, man. Not to mention, in New Orleans, Saints won a freaking game, man. I don't care what the people on the internet's telling you about how it's just the Giants, man. Because a lot of them people, they probably ain't win today, man. In fact, I'm about to list a name of teams, and I'm about to name a lot of teams right now. And I want you to put 2 and 2 together on why I'm saying this, and I want you to tell me what do they all have in common. The Browns, the Ravens, the Dolphins, the Raiders, the Giants, the Jets, the Eagles, the Cardinals, the Seahawks, the Bengals, and Chargers. What do all those teams have in common?
They all lost today. And those Ravens, boy, what are they? 1-5 now?
1-4.
Yeah, they digging themselves a hole. And they was like, I think they were my Super Bowl pick. I don't know. If not, there was my AFC Championship pick. I don't know. But
no, you had the Bengals in the Super Bowl, so
yeah. So I had them probably playing the Ravens though, because I was high on the Ravens, but they I don't know.
I was not high on the Ravens, but
their defense sucked right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to their defense. They usually play good defense in Baltimore. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, but my point is, all those teams I just named to you, They didn't do what the Saints did today. They all walk home with the loss. What in the world's going on here? They all walked. They all walked away with the loss. Saints won a game today. But anyways, then either the Patriots or the Bills are about to join that list of losers. But anyways, Saints are in the Winners Club this week. So, Dad, you got anything else to add?
Nope, we're good.
All right, Dad, where can they find you?
Mic'd Up YouTube channel, Hurricane Mike Show every week. That's where.
Yeah. And shout out to Jared G and Connor for popping in the chat. You can always find me at Hurricane Mike Kyle Phelps and Keeping It Real Who That's Sports Podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, turn the bell on so you don't miss a future upload. And we're gonna leave you as always with a who dat. And don't be a what?
Don't be a Failcon fan.
Amen to that. They just lost to the bye week.
Lost to the bye week.